Amir was a young explorer from Earth. He had traveled far from home, to a distant star system full of strange and unknown planets. His job was to find new worlds where humans could learn, trade, and maybe even live one day. The stars had always called to him, and now he was finally living his dream. One day, Amir and his small crew landed on a bright green planet. The sky was soft blue, and the air smelled fresh like flowers. Tall trees with shining leaves surrounded their ship. The planet seemed quiet and calm. It was peaceful. But Amir knew that appearances could be tricky in space. As Amir stepped out, he felt a strange excitement. This world was different from anything he had ever seen. His boots touched soft grass, and he heard birds singing. The colors of the plants were new and beautiful. The sky had two suns, one bigger and warmer, the other small and gentle. It was a place full of life. Suddenly, a soft voice spoke behind him. "Welcome, traveler," said the voice. Amir turned quickly. Before him stood a tall figure with smooth silver skin that shimmered under the twin suns. Her eyes were deep blue, shining like stars. She wore elegant clothes that looked like they were made from light itself. She smiled shyly, but her presence was strong and calm. "I'm Nara," she said softly. "I am the queen of this planet." Amir blinked in surprise. He had never met an alien queen before. Most stories told of fierce leaders, but Nara looked kind and gentle. He felt nervous, but also curious. "I am Amir, from Earth," he replied. He bowed slightly, showing respect. Nara nodded. "We have waited a long time for visitors from your world. It is rare for humans to come so far." Amir smiled. "I am glad to be here. Your world is beautiful." Nara's cheeks seemed to glow faintly. "Thank you, Amir. I hope you find kindness here." As they walked together, Nara showed Amir the great palace where she lived. It was built inside a huge tree that stretched into the sky. The walls were made of crystal and glowing vines. Inside, soft light filled the rooms, and the air was warm like a gentle hug. Amir was amazed. He had seen many buildings on many planets, but nothing like this. It felt alive. Nara sat beside him in a quiet garden filled with bright flowers. She looked at him with curious eyes. "You humans are different from others," she said. "You carry hope in your hearts." Amir laughed. "Maybe. We have many dreams. I want to learn and understand all kinds of life." Nara smiled shyly. "You are so beautiful. I cannot even describe." Amir was surprised. He looked at her again. Nara's beauty was unlike anything he had seen. It was not just her shining skin or her blue eyes. It was the calm in her voice, the kindness in her smile, and the strength in her spirit. He felt a warmth inside, a feeling he could not explain. "Thank you, Nara," he said softly. "Your beauty is not only in how you look, but in your heart." They talked for hours, sharing stories about their worlds. Amir told her about Earth, its oceans, mountains, and cities full of lights. Nara told him about her planet, where the people lived in harmony with nature, using their minds to heal and protect. They found many things in common, even though their worlds were so different. Both dreamed of peace and friendship between stars. As the twin suns began to set, painting the sky with pink and gold, Amir felt a calm happiness. He realized that meeting Nara was the start of something special. Maybe this quiet planet held more than just beauty. Maybe it held a new beginning. Nara stood and looked at the horizon. "You must rest now, Amir. Tomorrow, the day will bring new surprises." Amir nodded. "I look forward to it, Queen Nara." That night, Amir lay on a soft bed inside the palace. He thought about the day, about the alien queen who smiled shyly and called him beautiful. He wondered what the future would bring. In the quiet night, the stars shone brightly outside his window, a reminder that even far apart, two worlds could be close in heart. The morning sun rose gently over the alien planet, filling the sky with soft golden light. Amir woke feeling curious and excited. Yesterday's meeting with Queen Nara stayed fresh in his mind. He knew today would bring new moments, new chances. To learn that after a simple breakfast with his crew, Amir met Nara again outside the palace. She was waiting near a sparkling pond surrounded by colorful flowers. Her silver skin caught the light, making her seem almost like she was part of the sun itself. "Good morning, Amir," Nara said with a gentle smile. "Are you ready to see more of my world?" Amir nodded. "Yes, I want to understand everything. Your people, your culture, your way of life." Nara looked happy. "Come, I will show you." They began walking through the tall trees and bright meadows. As they moved, Nara told Amir about her people, the Suralans. The Suralans had lived on this planet for many centuries. They believed in living peacefully with nature, using their minds to help and heal. Their society was built on trust and respect. "We do not fight unless we must," Nara explained. "Our power comes from balance, not war." Amir listened carefully. On Earth, humans often struggle with wars and conflicts. He admired the Suralans' peaceful way. He asked many questions, and Nara answered kindly. Soon, they arrived at a large crystal dome, shining like a pearl in the sunlight. Inside, soft music played, and people moved with grace. This was the Suralan Art Hall. Nara guided Amir to a group of artists painting and sculpting. The colors were bright and alive. Shapes flowed like water. Amir felt a new kind of beauty, one born from peace and care. One artist, a woman with long silver hair, smiled and showed Amir a painting. It was of the planets, the suns, and the forests beneath. Painted with soft light and warm colors, art is how we share our feelings. Nara said, "It speaks when words cannot." Amir nodded, understanding the meaning. He wished humans could create such gentle art. After the art hall, Nara took Amir to the music gardens. Strange instruments hung from trees, and musicians played melodies that sounded like the wind and water. The music was soft and calming, and Amir felt his heart relax. "Music helps us connect," Nara said. "It speaks to the soul." Amir closed his eyes and listened. He imagined sharing this music with Earth, hoping it could bring peace there, too. As the day went on, Nara showed Amir more of her people's ways. She introduced him to healers who used their minds to ease pain and sickness. She showed him how Suralans grew food with care, using the planet's natural gifts without harm. Amir was amazed. The Suralans lived simply but fully. They respected every living thing. During a quiet moment, Amir asked Nara, "What is the most important thing for your people?" Nara looked thoughtful. "To live with kindness and courage, to protect what is good, and to trust others even when it is hard." Amir smiled. He felt these words deeply. On Earth, trust was often broken. Here, trust seemed like the strongest power of all. As the suns moved toward the horizon again, Nara and Amir sat on a hill overlooking a wide valley. The light made the trees shine like glass, and the sky turned soft pink. Nara looked at Amir and said quietly, "You are different, Amir. You listen with your heart. That is why I feel safe with you." Amir's cheeks warmed. "You are so beautiful, Nara, not just in your face, but in everything you do." Nara smiled shyly. She looked away for a moment, then met his eyes again. "Thank you," she said softly. "Your words mean more than you know." In that quiet moment, something new grew between them, a feeling of friendship and respect, maybe even more. Two very different beings, from two very different worlds, found a bridge of understanding. As night came, Amir returned to his ship with a heart full of hope. He knew the galaxy was large and full of dangers, but today he had found something precious, a new friend, a new way of seeing life. He looked at the stars shining above and thought, maybe this meeting was the start of a story that could. The days on the alien planet passed peacefully. Amir spent each morning learning more about the Suralans, their customs, and their gentle way of life. Queen Nara was always nearby, guiding him with kindness. Together, they shared stories and dreams under the twin suns. But one morning, the calm was broken. Amir was in the palace's main hall when the alarm sounded a low, urgent hum that filled the air. People around him looked worried and moved quickly. Nara appeared, her face serious and calm. "Amir, come with me," she said softly but firmly. "There's news you must hear." They walked to a large room filled with glowing maps and strange symbols. A group of Suralan leaders stood around a table, talking quietly. Nara pointed to a glowing dot on one of the maps. A group from another galaxy approaches our planet, she explained. They are not like us. They want to take our resources and capture me to use my power. Amir's eyes widened. Who are they? What kind of power? Nara looked at him with steady eyes. They call themselves the Vark. They are warriors who use force and fear. My people have faced them before, but they are strong. Amir felt a cold weight in his chest. He had traveled to explore and make friends, not to fight wars. But now, danger was near. We must protect your world, Amir said with quiet determination. Tell me how I can help. Nara smiled, a small, brave smile. Thank you, Amir. Your courage is a light in dark times. The leaders began to prepare for the coming threat. They sent messages to their allies across the stars. The Suralans gathered their warriors, but they knew their strength alone might not be enough. Amir's crew worked with the Suralans to set up defenses. The humans shared their technology shields, scanners, and weapons designed to protect, not to harm unnecessarily. They worked side by side with the Suralans, learning quickly. As the days passed, the planet's atmosphere changed. The bright and calm skies now held a quiet tension. People moved faster, spoke in serious tones, and watched the stars carefully. One evening, Amir found Nara in the palace garden. The twin moons hung low in the sky, casting soft light on the flowers. Are you afraid? Amir asked gently. Nara looked at him, her eyes shining. I am a queen. I must be strong for my people. But yes, I am afraid of what may come. Amir reached out and took her hand. We will face this together. You are not alone. Nara smiled. Shyly, your words give me hope. I am glad you are here. Suddenly, the planet's sensors picked up movement near the edge of the atmosphere. The Vark had arrived. From the palace windows, Amir and Nara saw dark ships with sharp angles and glowing red lights. The Vark fleet was large and fast. Their arrival shook the planet's peace. The Vark sent a message, cold and clear. Queen Nara, surrender yourself and your planet. Resistance will be destroyed. Nara stepped forward and replied with calm strength. We do not fear your threats. This planet is home. We will defend it. Amir stood beside her, feeling the same courage. Though he was far from Earth, he was ready to fight for peace. That night, the defenders gathered under the stars. Warriors from the Suralans and humans stood together, united by a common goal. Amir looked around and saw faces full of hope and courage. The battle ahead would be hard, but they would not give up. Nara spoke to the group. We protect not just our homes, but the future of all who believe in peace. Let us show them the strength of unity. The words filled Amir's heart with pride. Here, on this distant planet, a new story was beginning. One of friendship, courage, and the fight to protect what is right. The threat of the Vark hung heavy over the planet. The once peaceful land was now filled with the sounds of preparation. Warriors trained under the glowing light of the twin moons, and engineers worked day and night to strengthen defenses. Amir found himself caught between amazement and worry. The Suralans, though peaceful, were ready to fight to protect their home, and Amir, a human far from Earth, felt a deep responsibility to stand beside them. Early one morning, Amir met with Queen Nara in the palace garden. The flowers swayed gently in the soft breeze, but the tension in the air was clear. We must be ready, Nara said, her voice calm but strong. The Vark will not wait forever. Amir nodded. We are working on new shield systems. They will help protect your cities from attack. Nara smiled softly. Your technology is a gift, but courage and unity will win this fight. Amir admired her strength. Though she was a queen, Nara trained alongside her warriors every day. She showed no fear, only determination. In the training fields, Amir joined the Suralan fighters. He was not a soldier, but he had learned skills from Earth's space explorers. He practiced with their weapons and studied their tactics. The Suralans had special abilities. They could sense the land and use their minds to protect others. Amir listened carefully and learned quickly. One day, a Saralan warrior named Teal came to Amir. "You fight well for a human," Teal said with a smile. "We are glad you are with us." Amir smiled back. "Thank you. I want to do my best." Together, they trained under the watchful eyes of Nara and the commanders. Meanwhile, the engineers worked to build strong shields around the main cities. These shields could absorb energy from the Vark's weapons and protect the people inside. The humans and Saralans worked side by side, sharing ideas and skills. Amir spent many hours in the control room, learning to operate the new systems. The Saralans had their own ways of sensing danger, and humans used machines. Together, their strengths combined. As the days passed, the tension grew. But so did the hope. One evening, Amir and Nara stood on a high balcony overlooking the planet's great valley. The twin suns were setting, painting the sky with deep orange and purple. "Nara," Amir said quietly, "I have never met someone as brave as you. Your people have something special, not just power, but heart." Nara looked at him and smiled shyly. "And you, Amir, have shown us the strength of friendship. We are not alone." Suddenly, a message came from the scouts. The Vark fleet was moving closer. The leaders called a meeting. The defenders gathered to discuss the final plans. "We will fight to protect every life," Nara declared. "But we must also be smart. Use the land, use our minds, and trust each other." Amir felt a fire in his chest. The battle was near, but he was ready. The Saralans had taught him much: patience, kindness, and courage. That night, Amir sat near a fire with some Saralan warriors. They shared stories of past battles and hopes for the future. Amir told them about Earth, a world far away but full of dreams. One warrior said, "Your presence gives us hope, Amir. Together, we are strong." Amir looked up at the stars and thought about the journey ahead. The Vark were powerful, but they did not have the bond that the Saralans and humans shared. He whispered to himself, "We will protect this world. We will show the galaxy what true strength is." The quiet night held promise. Tomorrow, the battle for the planet would begin. But tonight, hope burned bright in the hearts of friends. The morning came heavy with silence. The sky was still, the air tense, far above. In the deep darkness of space, the Vark fleet had arrived. Their ships were black and sharp, glowing with red lights like angry eyes. They formed a wall in the sky, slowly moving toward the planet from the palace balcony. Amir stood beside Nara, watching. "They are here," Nara said quietly. Amir nodded. "Then we are ready." Down in the valley, the defenders gathered. Saralan warriors stood in long lines, their silver armor gleaming under the twin suns. Human crew members worked beside them, adjusting shield generators and preparing weapons. The alliance between human and Saralan felt strong to different worlds. Now united for one goal, the Vark sent another message. Their leader's voice was cold and sharp. "Queen Nara, surrender now, and we will spare your people." Nara stepped forward, her voice steady. "We will never surrender. This is our home." A moment of silence followed, then the Vark fleet opened fire. Bolts of red energy shot down from the sky. The city shields flared bright as they absorbed the blasts. The ground shook. The air filled with the sound of energy weapons and distant thunder. "Shields are holding," shouted one of the human engineers. Amir ran to the command station with Nara at his side. "Target the lead ship's weapons array," Amir ordered. The Saralan commanders followed his instructions, sending beams of blue light from the ground to strike the enemy. The first minutes of the battle were chaos. The Vark tried to break through the shields, while the defenders fought back with everything they had. Saralan warriors used their mind abilities to push back incoming fire, bending its path away from the cities. Humans fired precision shots from anti-ship cannons placed on high cliffs, but the Vark were not easy to stop. One of their smaller ships broke past the defenses and headed straight for the palace. "They're coming here," shouted Teal. The Saralan warrior Amir had trained with. Amir grabbed a pulse rifle and ran to the palace gates. Nara followed, holding a slender staff that glowed with white light. Together, they stood at the front as the enemy ship landed and its soldiers poured out. The Vark soldiers were tall and dark, with heavy armor. Their red eyes glowed as they moved forward. But the defenders met them with courage. Hold the line, Amir shouted. The clash was intense. Energy blasts lit the air, and the sound of battle echoed across the valley. Amir moved quickly, using both his training and instinct. He fired at the enemy's weak points while covering the Suralan fighters. Nara's staff shone brighter, creating a shield around the defenders. At one point, a Vark soldier charged toward Nara. Amir saw it and moved without thinking. He blocked the strike, knocking the soldier back. You will not touch her, Amir growled. Nara looked at him, her eyes full of gratitude, but there was no time for words. More soldiers kept coming. The fight lasted for hours. The defenders held their ground, but the Vark kept pressing. In the skies above, the larger ships exchanged fire with Suralan defense towers. The world seemed to shake with every impact. Finally, Amir heard a message through his communicator. The lead Vark ship's shield is weakening. We can end this if we strike now. Nara looked at him. Go, Amir. I will hold the palace. Amir hesitated. I won't leave you. You must, she said firmly. If we take down their leader's ship, they will retreat. Amir nodded, his heart heavy but determined. He rushed to the nearest human shuttle with Teal and to other defenders. The small craft shot into the sky, weaving between enemy fire. They reached the lead Vark ship and aimed for its weapons core. The blast from their cannons struck true. The enemy's shields flickered and broke. A huge explosion lit the darkness. The Vark fleet hesitated, their formation breaking. Without their leader's ship, their attack began to falter. On the ground, Nara saw the change and raised her staff high. Push them back, she cried. The defenders charged forward. The Vark soldiers, now without strong command, began retreating to their ships. The red lights in the sky pulled away, vanishing into the darkness of space. The battle was over. Amir landed back at the palace, his heart still racing. Nara met him at the gates. She was tired, but her smile was warm. You did it, she said softly. We did it, Amir replied, together. And for a moment, the whole world felt peaceful. Again, the sun rose slowly over the quiet valley. For the first time in many days, the air was still. No sound of battle, no distant thunder of enemy fire. Only the songs of birds and the gentle wind moving through the crystal trees. Amir stood on the palace balcony, looking over the city below. The buildings, though marked by the fight, still stood proud. The great shields were no longer glowing, but the people were safe. The Vark were gone. Queen Nara joined him. She wore a simple silver robe instead of her battle armor. Her expression was calm, but her eyes carried a deep light. It is over, she said softly. Amir nodded. Yes, your people are free. The Vark won't dare return soon. For a moment, they stood in silence, watching the twin suns climb higher in the sky. The morning light washed the city in gold. It felt like the whole planet was taking its first deep breath. After a long night. Down in the streets, Suralan families embraced each other. Warriors returned to their homes. Engineers checked the last of the shield systems, making sure the planet was ready for any future danger. Human crew members moved among the Suralans, offering help where it was needed. The battle had left scars. Some buildings were damaged, gardens destroyed, and many were tired from the endless days of preparation and fighting. But the people were smiling. They had defended their home, and they had done it together. Later that day, Nara gathered the people in the main plaza. The crystal towers around them caught the sunlight, making the whole place shine. My people, Nara's voice rang clear. You have shown courage and unity. You have fought not for conquest, but for peace. And today, we have won. The crowd cheered, their voices filling the air. Nara continued. We were not alone. The humans who came to us stood beside us. They gave us their skill, their strength, and their friendship. Let this day be remembered, not only as a victory, but as the day the worlds became allies. She turned to Amir and gestured for him to step forward. The crowd watched him with respect. Amir felt a little shy but spoke honestly. I came here as an explorer. I wanted to learn about your world. I never expected to fight for it, but in these days, I have learned something greater than exploration. I have learned that true beauty is found in courage, kindness, and unity. Your queen, your people, you are beautiful beyond words." Nera's cheeks glowed faintly, and she smiled shyly at his words. That night, the city celebrated. Lights danced across the crystal buildings, music flowed through the streets, and tables were filled with food. Humans and Surrealans sat together, sharing stories and laughter. Children played, their voices clear and happy. Amir and Nara walked through the celebration together. Everywhere they went, people greeted them warmly. Some gave them flowers. Others offered thanks. In a quiet corner of the palace garden, away from the noise, Nara looked at Amir. "When you arrived, I did not know what to expect from you," she said. "But you brought more than help. You brought hope." Amir smiled. "And you showed me a world worth protecting." They stood in the soft glow of the moonlight, surrounded by flowers. The air was warm, and the night was calm. For the first time since they met, there was no fear of what might come next. Nera's voice softened. "I have been called many things: ruler, protector, queen. But no one has ever said what you said to me." Amir remembered their first meeting, when he had told her she was beautiful beyond description. "I meant every word," he said quietly. Nara smiled again, that same shy smile she had on the first day. "And I believe you." The sounds of laughter and music from the plaza drifted toward them, but here in the garden, it felt like a world of their own. For Amir, this was more than victory. It was a connection, one that crossed the distance between two worlds and two lives. And for Nara, it was the proof that peace could be built not just with walls and shields, but with trust and friendship. The war was over, but something new had begun. The morning after the celebration was quiet and gentle. The twin suns rose slowly, casting soft gold light over the city's crystal towers. The air smelled fresh after the night's breeze, and the sounds of daily life began to return. Markets opening, children's laughter, and the low hum of airships moving across the sky. Amir stood at the edge of the great balcony of the palace, looking over the valley below. He had seen this view many times, but today it felt different. There was no threat waiting beyond the horizon. The world felt safe. Queen Nara joined him, wearing a light robe, her crown absent. Without the weight of battle or ceremony, she looked peaceful, though her eyes still carried the wisdom of a leader. "You are quiet this morning," she said softly. "I'm thinking," Amir replied. "When I first came here, I thought I would stay only a short time. Now, I don't know if I can leave." Nara looked at him with calm curiosity. "Your home is far away. Your people will miss you." Amir smiled faintly. "Yes, but here, I have found something worth staying for. I've seen the strength of your people, the beauty of your land. I've felt the trust between us. That's rare, even in all the stars I've traveled." They walked together down the balcony steps into the garden. The flowers were blooming, their petals catching the sunlight, and the sound of water from the crystal fountain filled the air. Nara spoke quietly. "If you choose to stay, you would not be a stranger here. You would be one of us. The Surrealans remember those who protect them." Amir's thoughts drifted to the battle, to the faces of the warriors he had fought beside, and to the moments when defeat seemed near but hope refused to die. "You gave me a place in that fight," he said. "I want to help build what comes." Next, later that day, the Council of Surrealans gathered in the Great Hall. The large chamber was filled with representatives from all over the planet, and some of Amir's human crew stood at the side, listening. The discussion was not about war, but about the future, trade, shared technology, and protection for the next generation. When it was Amir's turn to speak, he stood before the council. "We have faced danger together and won. Let us now face peace together and keep it strong. I offer my help, not as a visitor, but as a friend who will walk this path with you." The council agreed, and the decision was made: a permanent alliance between Earth and the Surrealan world. Ships would travel between the planets, knowledge would be shared, and both worlds would stand together if danger returned. That evening, Nara invited Amir to join her on a walk through the city. They passed through the busy markets where merchants sold food, fabrics, and crystal tools, people greeted them warmly. Offering smiles and words of thanks, a Saralan child ran up to Amir, holding a small carved stone shaped like a star. "For you," the child said with a bright smile. "So you? Remember you are one of us now." Amir knelt and accepted the gift with care. "I will keep it always," he said. They continued walking until they reached a hill at the edge of the city. From there, they could see the mountains glowing under the light of the setting suns. The sky turned deep orange and violet, the same colors Amir had seen on the first night he arrived. Nara looked at him. "When we first met, you called me beautiful in a way you could not describe. I did not understand then. But now I think I do. You were not only speaking about me. You were speaking about the peace we could make, the life we could build." Amir nodded slowly. "Yes, and it's still true. I don't have the words for all of it, but I feel it." The wind moved gently through the tall grass. The moment was simple, but it carried the weight of everything they had been through. The fear, the fight, the hope, and now the promised dot. As night fell, the first stars appeared in the sky. Amir looked up, thinking of Earth far away, and then looked back at the world in front of him. The choice was clear. He would stay, not as a soldier, not as an outsider, but as part of something greater, a bond between two worlds, a friendship that would last beyond lifetimes, and a guardian of the peace they had fought so hard to win. In the distance, the city lights began to glow, and the sound of music drifted softly through the air. Nara stood beside him, silent but smiling. The war was behind them, and the future was wide open for Amir. It was not just the end of a journey, it was the start of a new one. And as the stars shone above, he felt certain that no matter what came next, they would face it together. A new dawn had come, and with it, the promise of forever peace.